This past summer on the Legacy Parenting podcast, we talked about habits that shape a home, the ordinary rhythms and practices and choices that create the culture of our families. But those habits are doing more than shaping our homes, they are shaping hearts. So this fall, we're taking that conversation one step deeper. Welcome back to our new series, Habits That Shape a Heart. Throughout this series, we'll be talking about Christ-like habits such as thankfulness, generosity, faithful obedience, initiative, self-government, integrity, courage, and more. But we don't simply want to ask, how do we get our children to behave this way? We want to ask a deeper question. How does God form these qualities within the heart? Because biblical parenting is about more than producing the right outward behavior. It's about faithfully discipling the heart, helping our children learn to love what is good, recognize what is true, and increasingly choose what honors God. And the beautiful thing is that these habits aren't formed in one big parenting moment. They're cultivated slowly through the ordinary moments of family life, in our conversations, our correction, our example, our routines, and even in the ways we respond when things don't go as planned. And as God is shaping the hearts of our children, we often discover that He is shaping ours as well. So whether our children are little, nearly grown, or somewhere in between, we hope these conversations will help you have biblical encouragement, practical wisdom, and greater confidence for the everyday work that God has given you to do. Because this isn't about parenting perfectly. It's about faithful parenting and trusting God to use the ordinary habits of home to shape hearts for Him. So, as we step into this part of the year, this is where things start to get a little more real. Because up to this point, we've been talking about foundation, how habits are formed, what's happening in the heart, what's shaping our kids over time. And now we're stepping into, okay, what does this actually look like in real life? And the first place we go is obedience. I think it's worth saying out loud. That word, obedience, can feel a little bit heavy. For some of us, it brings up power struggles, repeating ourselves over and over, frustration, if we're honest. So before we even go anywhere else, we need to slow down and make sure we're talking about the right thing. Because what we're aiming for is not control. It's not just, did they do what I said? It's something deeper than that. It's talking about obedience as a willing response, a heart that is learning to align with what is right. That's very different than how we often think about obedience. Because now we're not just managing our child's behavior, we're actually forming something within their heart. And here's where this connects back to what we've already talked about. If a child is not learning thankfulness, if they don't see life as something they've received, obedience is always going to feel like a fight. And if they're not learning generosity, that open-handed response, then everything is going to feel like, why do I have to do this? But when those things start to take root, obedience starts to look differently. So I want to encourage you to go back and listen to the first two podcasts in this series where we talk about thankfulness and generosity, because they really do lay the foundation for many of the habits we're going to be talking about during this series. When we do see these things start to take root and obedience starts to look differently, we start to see moments where a child actually hears us, where they pause and they choose to respond correctly. And that's what we're after. Not just action, but a heart that's learning how to respond. Because here's the reality. Obedience doesn't just happen, it's trained. And not in a harsh way and not in a rushed way, but slowly and repeatedly. Just everyday moments. You give an instruction, you wait, you follow through, and you do it again and again and again. And over time, something is being built. The will, that ability for them to hear what is right and actually move toward it. I think this is where it helps to shift our mindset a little, because it's easy to think, I just need them to listen. But what we're really doing is we're helping them learn how to respond to what is right. And that's going to matter way beyond our home, because one day it's not going to be our voice that they're listening to. It's going to be what they know is right, what they've been taught, and what God is calling them to. And the question is going to be the same. Will I respond? That's what we're training right now. And here's something really important to keep in mind. This is not the end goal. This is the beginning. Because as this starts to take root, this obedience, something else begins to grow, and you'll start to see moments where your child does something without being told, takes responsibility on their own, and responds before you even say anything. That's not random. That's the fruit. That's what we call initiative, and it grows out of this. So as we step into this week, let's not rush past obedience. Don't treat it like something basic or frustrating that we just have to get through. This is where something really important is being formed. This week, just pick one thing, not everything, just one. Something simple that comes up every day. And instead of reacting to it, approach it like you're training something. Give the instruction clearly, pause, let them respond, follow through calmly, and then do it again later. Perfectly, but just consistently, because that's how this is built. And as you step into this week and focus on obedience, my prayer is this, that you would begin to see obedience differently, not as something you have to force, but as something you're helping to form. That you would have patience for the repetition and confidence that those small, everyday moments are actually doing something meaningful. And that over time you would begin to see a shift, not just in what your child does, but in how they respond. Thanks for joining us today on the Legacy Parenting Podcast, and we hope this conversation has encouraged you to look beyond simply managing behavior and to consider the deeper work God is doing in the hearts of your children and in your own heart as you parent them. Remember that Christ-like character is rarely formed in a single moment. It grows over time through truth that is taught and habits that are practiced, relationships that are nurtured, and the faithful work of God in the ordinary moments of home. If this episode encouraged you, be sure to subscribe to the Legacy Parenting Podcast so you don't miss the rest of our Habits That Shape a Heart series. And if you know another parent who would benefit from this conversation, we'd love for you to share it with them. You can also visit the Legacy Parenting website where you'll find our Legacy Resource Center, articles on the Legacy Parenting blog, and additional biblical resources designed to help you parent with greater clarity, confidence, and purpose. Until next time, remember, you don't have to parent perfectly, but you are called to parent faithfully, trusting God to use the everyday moments of your home to shape a legacy that lasts.